The time's come again, as it does every year, of pine trees to smell and carols to hear, wrapping paper to touch for gifts wrapped in haste, plus candy canes, cocoa, and cookies to taste. But what's there to see? What are the true Christmas sights, apart from decorations, sweaters, wreaths, stockings, and lights? Why, you can see the latest crop of Christmas romances on streaming. Simply park your butt down in front of your device and start dreaming of small-town hunks who'll make you give up your career, and the same familiar complications as every year. Gather around your TV or laptop's glow to watch a million interchangeable drone shots of the villages below. What with Netflix, Amazon, and Hulu taking Lifetime's runoff, there's no way to make your Christmas movie watching a one-off. These stories we'll view again and again and again and again, until our eyeballs pop out and our sanity ends. 'Tis the definition of binging till we make ourselves sick. Then we wait till next year for a new crop from St. Nick. How many have I watched the past 2 weeks? 15! You can't even fathom how much snow I've seen. But we're not here to mock these films, oh no, no. Merely to poke gentle fun at the tropes that they show. So once again enjoy this yearly present to you from Elena, Sam, and Ameerah, the Kael Your Idol's Christmas crew.
Welcome to Kael Your Idols, Ho Ho Ho, a new Hollywood podcast with your hosts,
Sam Ludwig
and Elena Gibson. This is a podcast about film. Primarily, we discuss movies, directors, actors, and writers known for their work during the new Hollywood era of studio filmmaking that began in 1967 with Bonnie and Clyde and The Graduate, and pretty much ended in the early 80s with One from the Heart and Heaven's Gate. In this special bonus episode, we are doing something a little different because we are not talking about New Hollywood at all. We are talking about Christmas movies that we watched in 2025 because I love Christmas movies. For the second year in a row, we are joined by special guest Ameerah Holliday. Ameerah is an associate agent at the Serendipity Literary Agency. She primarily represents YA, new adult, and adult fiction authors who write in a range of genres including contemporary, novels in verse, horror with a mental health twist, and romcoms. And she is also a Christmas movie aficionado. So welcome back, Ameerah.
Thank you for having me back again this year.
So fun.
Yes, it's a Christmas miracle.
Very much so.
All right. So have you all been watching a lot of Christmas movies this year?
Oh boy, have I. This year I came to play, y'all.
You only watched maybe 2 movies last year?
A mere 2 or 3 of the exact same movie. This year, I watched 15 movies that could be completely interchangeable. We were just running through the titles when we were trying to figure out which ones we were talking about this episode, and we were all like, wait, I don't know if I've seen it. I can't tell from the title. That's...
I have to say, this year I was struck by just how wide the range of Christmas movies can be. I know the common thing people say is they're all interchangeable, they're all the same, it's all the same plot, but there's such a wide range of quality, but also tone and just overall vibe and different types of fun little jobs that all the characters have. That's another thing that can have variety. So personally, I thought there was quite a lot of variety in what I watched this year.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that they're getting a little bit more creative, but keeping the same formula. So it's been interesting to kind of see how things are shifting.
Yeah, on that note, what were some trends you noticed when you watched Christmas movies this year? And by the way, for the audience, we're going to be talking again about 2025 films, but also Christmas movies that weren't necessarily released in 2025, but were advertised on different streaming services or were just ones that we found buried within a catalog somewhere on the streaming service or on cable. But yeah, so common things you noticed.
Yeah, so this year I noticed, and like not last year I started to notice it, but this year was very prevalent to me that they're now using Christmas movies as kind of like commercials. So there's a lot of partnerships with Christmas movies now. The NFL is back with Hallmark, but there was also the Pentatonix Christmas movie last year, and I've been noticing that a little bit more every year that they're starting to become hour-long commercials for certain items or product placement. It's been really interesting.
Oh, What Fun had a vocal group thing in it, right? Like, they have to be an actual vocal group.
I think so, yeah, because they were featured so prominently.
Yeah, they played during the credits.
Yeah, what do you think about the Christmas a cappella group trend? Is this a direction that you want to see carols go? I mean,
I like a cappella, but that's not all I want out of my Christmas music. One thing I was thinking this year is that it's convenient that you don't have to worry about rights to music for a lot of the common Christmas carols. So Christmas movies can have decent music, unlike other super low budget movies.
Yeah, that's totally true. We're getting more like decent music through the acapella stuff, but we're also getting more original songs now with Christmas movies, which is hit or miss depending on which streaming service you're looking at.
I was noticing clearly some songwriters are getting more featured in lead roles to, I don't know, different levels of results, I would say. There's this weird trend that I noticed in these two movies, A Sprinkle of Christmas and A Home for Christmas, where the lead character is either played by a songwriter and she is a chef, or the character is a chef, but she's secretly has a dream to be a songwriter, and then both feature a climactic moment where they're suddenly bursting out into a song. They clearly had a contractual obligation that you have to feature one of my songs in it at a moment where I'm feeling angsty. But yeah, singer-songwriter / chef or baker was a thing that I noticed. And also a lot of home renovation. That's always a thing? Just because decorating is...
Yeah, well, the home is the heart. And you're coming home for Christmas. So any changes to the home means a change to the family and a change to your life.
That's so true.
That is true.
Movies. Yeah, I watched one of the movies that we watched this year. They refer to their home as the mothership, I think. Mm-hmm. That was Merry Little Xmas. But decorating a house is an ideal Christmas activity to feature as well in one of these movies. Because, you got to have at least one very recognizable Christmas activity that the characters do together.
Yeah. I feel like I'm being prompted to say more stuff in this episode just because I happen to have watched a million movies this year. But I do still want you guys to lead the way because I don't know if I have developed the passion that maybe you would have wanted me to develop for these works. I don't know if the experiment of having me watch a bunch of them made me like them more.
Well, I have a question for you, Sam.
Okay.
Once we're done recording this episode,
yes,
there are still 4 days until Christmas Eve, 5 days until Christmas.
Right.
Will you put on a Christmas movie just to chill out to it?
No, I don't find them. Well, I might have had I not just binged this many.
That's fair.
And this is something that, like, when you're talking about, when you say stuff like, I'm noticing there's such a wide variety and they're really coming into their own. I sort of know what you mean. Sort of.
This is your first year of really paying attention to them or having watched enough to notice any trends. Like, Ameerah and I have been watching Christmas movies for a while now, but this is your first year. So you can't really detect changes in trends.
I can't. I couldn't possibly. I love how you're going to be such a gatekeeper about this. Like, you don't really get Christmas movies, man. But, like, I know what you mean. And I do think that this is actually what Netflix should be doing. This kind, I've been saying for years, when I saw that Dahmer show that Netflix made, I was like, yes, this is what they should do. It's fucking trash. Like, Netflix should be, like fun junk. Netflix was chasing Oscars for so long. And that's and it never works. They were trying to resurrect these genres that were lost, and it's not what Netflix is good for. But I do think that Netflix is bringing their A game to Christmas movies.
Yeah.
And I think that they're really innovating. And
I totally agree.
So I do appreciate that, and I do see the differences. But I guess one thing I would put to you oh so much more well-versed in the complexities of Christmas movies, people, is like, do you not worry that there's going to be a tipping point? Do you worry that streaming will strangle anything about what you loved about this ever? Or is that kind of impossible because this is such an idiomatic art form where it's just never going to overpromise, so it can't ever not give you what you want, which is just more, you know?
Yeah, I feel like it not overpromising is the key. I don't think it's going to have a Marvel type situation.
That's exactly the thing, though. I was feeling Marvel.
I think the thing that might make me a little sick of Christmas movies is feeling pressured to watch a bunch for this episode.
Yes.
But
yeah.
But in general, again, like it's not like a movie theater situation where Marvel's the only thing out. There's still other movies out. It's not like these Christmas movies are taking away from other streaming content that I'm excited for at this time of the year. Like there are still prestige films coming out at the end of the year trying to get Oscar attention. So I don't think the Christmas movies are taking the place of anything else.
You actually bring up an interesting point, though, because it is part of just the incredible bottlenecking of all of the movies that you ever want to watch coming out in this 1 month.
Yeah.
So it is certainly not a great time of year to be associated with a million movies that you're particularly interested in. I think my thing is just that it's because they all look so similar. That's the thing that kind of, and I don't mean like the camera work or whatever. I mean, although the camera work, we'll talk about drone shots and stuff, but just I'm looking at so much snow. I'm looking at Christmas decorations so much. This conversation we have about this is the new rom-com, it starts to make me feel like, well, why can't there be more low-budget streaming rom-coms that don't have snow globes and stuff every 5 seconds? That's where I think it's like a Marvel thing. Sorry, anyway, go on.
No, I agree. I think with the added element of Christmas, you kind of get an audience where early on you're not going to take yourself too seriously.
Yeah.
I feel like when you put rom-com on something, people automatically go to like the Notebook level, theatrical style. The acting has to be amazing. You have to believe the love story. Adding Christmas onto it makes it feel like it's less serious. We don't really have to buy it. We kind of just have to be along for the ride.
Right.
That is a good point.
There just has to be something in the movie that we are interested in. It could be surprisingly good chemistry. Like I have one on my list that I was surprised at the chemistry between the two actors. It could be so bad it's good energy. It could be a ridiculous plot. It could be a realistic plot. Like it could be a low budget charm. It could be a surprisingly high budget, genuinely funny script. There are a lot of different things that could be the draw for the film. And I think you're totally right that putting Christmas in front of it takes off the pressure for everything to have to be great. It just needs one of those things to be of interest. I also want to say, like, part of the fun for me is that watching these Christmas movies, it feels like I'm panning for gold. I enjoy the process of watching a bunch of crap and then stumbling upon a hidden gem that even within the film, it could be that the film overall is mostly bad, but there's one part that makes me laugh or smile or that I felt like they actually did a good job with. And that feels so rewarding in a weird way. I think it's kind of similar to, I've said this before, I'm sure, but it's similar to B-movie sci-fis from like the 50s or whatever that people used to watch and still enjoy. I think it's a similar kind of thing. Like it's a modern day B-movie.
Yeah, I agree.
And I totally see that. It does make me think about these streaming trends. Ameerah, you said something great. I re-listened to our episode from last year about how they kind of have the level of importance of a half-hour episode of a sitcom, of the incident that's going to get resolved quickly, that it's a conflict, but it's not a real conflict, right? That just made me think, what's the great sitcom that's been created by the streaming service? Have they even tried? I mean, How I Met Your Father was one where they attempted and it was terrible. Why can't we have other low stakes? Like, because this is working, right? This is an unmitigated success of the streaming era, I would say. I guess maybe I should just say, rather than criticizing it, I would hope there would be other kind of lateral lessons that could be taken from the success of the Christmas industry.
I think you're right. I think in turn, the streaming services have started to take themselves too seriously. And so it's kind of a feedback loop into itself where now the streaming services are reaching for Oscars, like you said. And we didn't come to you for that. We came to you for very low level sitcom-y style rewatches, comfort shows. And they're kind of they're trying to turn into a theatrical experience, which is not necessarily what people always want. So this is kind of like a niche angle and like back into the less serious.
Yeah, I think that they're aware that a lot of the Christmas movies are things that people aren't really going to be watching. They're going to have on in the background while they're doing other stuff. So Sam, you mentioning getting annoyed at having to see all the Christmas decorations. I have to say I watched a lot of these while folding laundry or doing the dishes. So I would sometimes hear Christmas music in a movie and assume, okay, this is a normal, decent quality or okay quality Christmas movie, and then I look over and it's like really low budget, really poorly done, and I just couldn't tell because it had good music on top. And so it's funny how Christmas movies are not always like eyes are not on them all the time, which is something that the streaming services are definitely aware of with a lot of their content. Like I know that they have given instructions, for example, for some of the shows to make sure that they say out loud what the characters are doing in the dialogue so that people who are only half watching can still follow along. Which is sad. That part's sad. I don't think we should be moving towards content that needs to be spoken out loud to us all. Like, just switch to an audiobook if that's what you're looking for.
And I do appreciate that there's some that are, they're spreading in different directions. Some of them are aiming for the modern facsimile of the Hallmark Lifetime Christmas romance. Some are aiming more for, I want to make a Christmas classic of the VHS era. And then Netflix and some of the other ones, they're trying to find a middle ground. And they're seeing if they can kind of marry those two impulses. And I think that some of those experiments are pretty successful and worthy and interesting. I guess just to keep with this thought experiment, is there ever a possible tipping point with these movies? Are they too inherently commercial to ever get crass? We have hit Marvel fatigue. People are kind of sick of that stuff. Westerns, they used to be super dominant and people got sick of them. Is this sort of just an impossible thing? Like, I think about like Frank Zappa talks about the moment in rock and roll where initially the labels were run by an old fat guy with a cigar who didn't know anything about pop music. He would hear a band and he's like, I don't know, give him a shot, give him a record deal, right? And that was how we got cool music in the 60s. And then 10 years later, you get the hip young kid who's grown up on rock music and he's like, I know what's cool. Let me tell you what you need. And then that kind of ruins it. Once you get the people who are the fans or they think they know what it's got to be, and you lose something in the initial experimentation, right? And I wonder if Christmas movies were different when they were more under the radar or even maligned because they were these Hallmark things that moms watched or whatever. But then people secretly discovered, oh, wow, these are actually kind of cool and I'm addicted to them. Is there ever going to be a point where you're getting too pandered to by too many forces? Or is that just an impossible thing because it's literally the most commercial holiday and it's the most commercial setting ever? So how could you be ruining it?
I think you're right that it's too commercial, that it's almost impossible to make it too cheesy, too commercial, because Christmas itself is commercial in its development and in how we consume it. I also think if there was going to be a tipping point, we maybe already missed it. There is an era of very serious, people take them very serious Christmas movies. It's a Wonderful Life, all of those style movies that are far more serious than I think the modern day Christmas movie. So if that change happened, we probably just missed it in pop culture.
Yeah, and we've already been having plenty of meta Christmas movies. I think we talked about a couple on last year's episode. So we've already reached that phase of commenting on the fact that it's already really popular. And I even kind of still liked those. I don't want them all to be meta, but like they still worked for me because the formula does work, even if the formula is talking about the formula. So maybe there will be a tipping point, but I don't see us being at that tipping point yet. I'm still enjoying it.
It doesn't feel like there's any indication that it has reached that. It is just, it's difficult for me, right, like you say, for this podcast to not have binged so many Christmas movies.
In the next year, it'd be advantageous for you to not shove them all into your brain. That way you can enjoy them a little bit more.
Yeah, 15 is a lot for a newbie. Christmas movies, this is a different beast. So
It's
you really
true.
took on a lot.
Yeah.
How many do you think you watched this year, Ameerah?
I start on November 1st and I don't stop until New Year's Eve.
Wow.
So
You just have the channels like Lifetime and Hallmark playing all the time in your apartment when you're home.
literally, yes. I think Hallmark starts running them 24/7 November 1st. So it's just on in my apartment. If I'm home, it's on.
Impossible to estimate then.
Definitely over 20 for sure. Newer movies, like movies that I'd never seen before, maybe like 10 or so. I will say that this year I noticed there was not a lot of advertisement for new Christmas movies. I kind of had to dig a little. The average streaming service, like last year, Netflix had quite a few. And this year, they're really focused on Stranger Things coming to an end. So I didn't really see a lot of ads for new Christmas movies other than the one that Disney and Hulu released. So it's been
Same.
tricky.
I just counted. I watched 17 this year, so not that much more than Sam. Real fast, before we dive into some movies, I wanted to talk about some other common things that either I noticed this year but have been around for a little while, or that I felt were actually a new thing in the Christmas genre. So one thing I noticed that divorce is a thing that's being shown more and more in the Christmas movies. It used to be, especially on Hallmark and Lifetime, that there'd be single parents, but it would be because the other spouse died in a tragic accident or something, and divorce wasn't as common in those. But I came across a fair amount of stories involving divorce this year. So they're definitely leaning into more progressive, non-traditional family types.
Yeah, nothing's more progressive than divorce.
I mean, but like, it's a low bar.
The
you know what I
ultimate
mean?
right. The ultimate right of a futuristic society.
Another thing that I know has been something that's been happening with Christmas movies for a while now, but I noticed a lot of older actresses. And so I think that is something that they have, both because quite a lot of their audience are older women, but also they like to cast has-been stars because that's who they can get, who has a recognizable name. So for some examples of older actresses, I watched, I saw them in Joy to the World, My Secret Santa, and Merry Little Xmas. Those all featured kind of older women. And I was really sick of drone shots. Every time a movie starts, you get exterior establishing shot that's done with a drone, and I was sick of it.
I'm sick of drone shots and everything. Like, I know that I guess we'll probably never get any more of those awesome helicopter establishing shots of cities, but they look so much better than drone shots.
Drone shots look CG just because
terrible.
they're so high def.
But they're so much cheaper. So
Yeah.
I guess it's just that's here to stay.
And then something that I noticed this year, which is definitely something that's always been in these Christmas movies, but it was something that really entertained me every time I saw it, is if you get into a more sad part of the movie and a character turns to the other character and says, "Merry Christmas," sadly, and then walks away like a mic drop. That part always got me. I'm always like, hell yeah, give them that sad Merry Christmas. Make them feel like shit by wishing them a Merry Christmas. It always got me. I loved it.
Merry Christmas as a weapon. It works every time.
It really does.
Can I add one more thing that I noticed more and more? But this year it was kind of very prevalent to me that they've been doing a lot more like Christmas and Hanukkah combined style movies, where like something happens and now Christmas and Hanukkah has to be combined for the families. There was one specifically that I watched. I think it was on Hallmark. I think it's called Oi to the World, something like that. And it was like a Christmas choir, their church. Something happens with their church and now they have to rehearse in like a synagogue. And it's like, you can't do that. They do Hanukkah and it's Christmas. And so it was like the whole theme was how to understand both and celebrate both. And that's something that I've seen a few times, but this year it seemed very, very prevalent.
Interesting.
That just reminds me of one time when I was in the madrigals in high school, and we'd have to go around and sing Christmas carols at various, the Rotary Club or the Masonic Lodge and stuff. There was one time where we went to the Lions Club, I think. I don't remember what actual club it was, not to throw a specific club under the bus, but we always threw in a Hanukkah song, Hanukkah, oh Hanukkah, in our and the temperature in the room fell dramatically when we started singing Hanukkah, oh Hanukkah. Everybody in there was just like, I didn't want this. We hired you to sing Christmas carols. What is this bullshit?
That's funny.
So maybe it wasn't the Lions Club. I don't know. It was some club.
That's what you get. That's what I don't know. Those clubs are weird.
They were
Those clubs are really
they got
weird.
visibly uncomfortable that they were hearing 5 seconds of a non-Christmas carol.
Okay, do you want to dive into movies now?
Mm-hmm.
Let's start with Netflix. How about Jingle Bell Heist? The synopsis is just that two people team up to rob a department store.
This actually does have some twists and turns in it.
Yeah, but let's not give that away.
So sorry.
We can say it's twisty and turny. I was surprised by a lot of the plot twists. Like they really got me. I enjoyed it.
I would say it was one of the twistier movies I saw this year.
Did you see this one, Ameerah?
I don't think I did.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought it was fun. I would recommend this movie.
I would too.
How does it add in the element of Christmas?
Well, it happens during Christmas time, so the department is decorated in Christmas stuff.
Well,
Why wasn't Christmassy?
It was Christmassy. Well, so and my initial, I wasn't sure if it was going to work because I was thinking like, oh, is the tone of a Christmas romance wrong for the adrenaline high stakes of a heist movie? They did a pretty good job of keeping it a low rent heist. Sorry, go on.
Wait, they're doing the Christmas heist. They're robbing it on Christmas Eve.
Right. Yeah.
I think because maybe less security then.
Yeah, probably.
It honestly seemed like it was kind of inspired by the Thomas Crown Affair, which is a new Hollywood film that we've talked about before on one of our episodes. Because it had like jazzy music and some
the score was cool.
Some zooming choices with the camera.
Right, but it was kind of light in a way that was good for in a way that evoked a Christmas movie.
Exactly, like the stakes, like it wasn't zero stakes. You know, obviously they were trying to rob something, but they were trying to rob a department store, not a bank. And I thought it was kind of funny. I enjoyed it.
Not the best couple. They were a bit of a mismatch.
Really bad physical chemistry. There's a scene where they have to pretend that they were kissing because like a security guard walks by or something.
Right.
And it's so awkward. It's so awful. Terrible kissing.
Cute girl, real sad sack guy type situation.
The guy was from something. What's he from? Oh, yes, he's from Sex Education. He plays Adam in Sex Education.
Oh, we love Adam.
Yeah. So I can see how he got a movie from Sex Education. But yeah, I recommend it. I hate that when they reveal what the woman's reason is for wanting to rob the department store. It's like super noble, and I hate it. Like, I liked the idea of them not being noble characters. I like the idea of them just trying to commit a crime.
Why isn't it ever like, I just want to like buy a cool car? Why does it got to be like, I got to save a relative?
Especially in a Christmas movie. They have to be really noble. Okay, moving on. Champagne Problems. We also watched that one. Me and Sam did, at least. Mm-hmm. That one is different advertising companies are competing. I think they're advertising companies.
I think they're like venture capitalist company. Or like,
oh, right. They're trying to... Okay. Different people are trying to compete to see who should buy this champagne or... winery place.
Yeah, it's like a vineyard or champagne company.
Yeah. And so then the different interested buyers get together and they spend Christmas on the vineyard. One of those higher budget Netflix films. I'd say all the Netflix ones are higher budget.
Yeah, this is directed by Mark Steven Johnson, who's the writer of films like the Grumpy Old Men franchise. And he's continuing his trend of travel-based Netflix movies. He previously made Love in the Villa with them, which is about an American fetishizing Italy. And this is interesting. I think that this is a newer trend that I guess you get when you have more money pumped in, which is the traveling to Europe Christmas movie, as opposed to traveling to a small American town.
Right, because it takes place in Paris. Mm-hmm. At first, I thought it was one of those Netflix films where it's too good to be like charmingly low budget and fun, but not good enough to be entertaining. But I would say once the side characters were introduced, I started enjoying it more. The side characters is what makes this movie fun. There's this really flamboyant, funny guy, and there's also this German guy who is very direct and a little awkward and stuff. And both of those guys together, I think, really make the movie sparkle like a freshly opened bottle of champagne.
Well put. I wish that they'd had a third different European person. Like they had a German guy, a American guy, and a French lady. And I was like, you couldn't throw an Italian lady in there? Or, like a Russian guy? I don't know.
I would say the male actor in this was pretty good. I really enjoyed him.
Fully agree.
I also appreciate that the characters, they sleep together on their first date. Something you don't always see in these Christmas movies. Sometimes you only see them kiss at the very end of the movie. But no, they sleep together right in the beginning.
Yeah, there was legitimate queer representation. They talk about visiting someone's OnlyFans page in this. It was a racy film.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't that racy. Let's not oversell it.
For a Christmas movie, it was. And this is what Netflix is doing,
Yeah, and I think that's how Netflix is kind of taking over their angle of Christmas, is they're using like the classic trope and then adding in like a little bit more sex or like a little bit more cussing than you normally would see on TV. That lets you know that like they're doing it a little different. They're going to be more modern.
Yeah,
she has lactose intolerance, and there's some nice toilet flushing and shitting jokes in there too.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, representation matters.
Yes. Sam, you want to talk about Merry Little Xmas?
A Merry Little Xmas? Sure. This is an interesting little movie. Look, it's nice to see Alicia Silverstone, and getting Alicia Silverstone and Melissa Joan Hart in the same scene is like a nuclear bomb going off of actors that were so delightful and vibrant in the 90s, and now, due to their age and being on Netflix, are reduced to being super dry old ladies. Like,
they also look the same in this movie. At first,
as each
Melissa
other?
Joan, as each other.
Okay. I was like, they don't look the same as they did.
No, not as they used to, but as they do currently. I think Melissa Joan Hart looks the same, actually.
I mean, she's got a recognizable look.
But when Melissa Joan Hart first came on screen
Mm-hmm.
and Alicia Silverstone was not on screen, she was on screen earlier, but I was like, wow, Alicia Silverstone really looks like Melissa Joan Hart. And then they were both in the same shot together, and I'm like, oh no, that just is Melissa Joan Hart.
I thought it was a pretty interesting twist in a lot of ways. The central character Alicia Silverstone plays is a rabid environmentalist, and this has caused the downfall of her marriage because she's too obsessive about environmentalism. And I thought that was kind of an interesting conflict, because it's not a bad thing, but you could.
I mean, that wasn't the only thing that contributed to it. Also, her husband was her ex.
That was her flaw, right?
Yeah,
But
her ex was a doctor, and he was just working all the
a
time.
workaholic, which was a little bit less unique in a Christmas movie. But
the plot of this is that there's a couple who they recently got divorced, but they are calling it consciously uncoupling. And they make a bunch of jokes about that. And they're very amicable still. They both have other people they're dating that they bring to the Christmas family gathering. And the whole question is like, are they going to get back together or not? Because they still clearly have chemistry. I really liked the guy who played the husband. I thought he was really good. I also liked Alicia Silverstone's character. She has this like young hot boyfriend or guy she's dating. His name's Chet. And I thought he was great. I was like, you should just go with Chet. Like,
that was what I was hoping too. Yeah, like he was clearly the breakout star, and I was hoping that they were going to go in a different direction and have them just stay divorced and be with these younger people. But I guess you can't do that. I don't know.
Yeah, I actually thought the same thing. And I felt like because they were trying to kind of be like a new age Christmas movie with like a different style plot, I thought, oh, maybe they'll break the mold and have them not get together and just stay with these new partners. But of course, there's no magic and newness.
Yeah. I did think it was pretty funny how there's a scene in which Melissa Joan Hart and Alicia Silverstone are actually trying out Melissa Joan Hart's drone camera. So you get drone shots of themselves that they are actually controlling. And I was like, is this just to save money? Just have them just have them take care of the drone shots.
I did think that was funny. Did you like it, Ameerah?
I did like it. I thought it was fun. It was a little bit different than the average formula for this, and I thought it was interesting. I mean, the two families in one house thing is kind of a trope in Christmas movies, so this was like a new-ish take on that.
Yeah.
Cute gay dads.
Oh, yeah, cute gay dads. I wasn't digging it in the beginning because they were trying to be funny but weren't. There were some actors who I thought couldn't pull off some of the jokes they were going for. But I thought the second half was a lot better, especially when you have the other people they're dating coming into the scene. So I ended up liking it. I liked that she's a female handyman. That's her job. And that was fun. That she
progressive.
Yes. And I love
divorced
when women,
and a handyman.
Yeah. Double whammy.
Mm-hmm. She had a funny crying scene, Alicia Silverstone, where she got to do her classic crying, that she from Clueless and stuff. And and then she eventually starts to sound totally insane. But she had that line where she's afraid of the new girlfriend. She's like, she's sprinkling them with materialistic consumer Christmas magic. She's going to win. I thought that was funny for like an environmentalist lady to realize that it is hard to resist.
It was funny. But then it paid off nicely when her ex gave her a homemade, really thoughtful gift, but then gave his new girlfriend AirPods because she's more of a materialist.
Yeah.
I thought that paid off really well. Yeah.
I'm happy that Alicia's back. She was just in Begonia.
Oh, really? Gotta watch it. All right. I would say one of my favorite Christmas movies I watched this year is also by Netflix. And it was My Secret Santa.
Home run.
I feel like Ameerah disagreed, though.
You didn't like it.
I did not like it.
We both loved it. But give us the dissenting opinion.
Well, now I'm curious. So for me, Netflix advertised it as a movie starring Tia Mowry, and it
Oh,
is not a movie starring Tia Mowry.
No, no, no.
I did not get that advertisement. And when she came on, I'm like, Tia's in this?
Yeah.
And then they had her be in such a small role. And also, she was like a Grinch character. And I'm like, you are really not utilizing Tia Mowry well. And also, she's not at the point where she should be delegated to side character. She's still a star of Christmas movies. It's weird though, because I guess it's because it's Netflix.
It's Netflix, right? There's this weird hierarchy power thing where it's like she's trying to level up, but you're not at this, but you've got to take a pay cut because you're playing with the big leagues now is the idea. But I will agree with you. It was startling how small of a role she had because of what we're used to having her in the Christmas context.
Yeah, she's a Christmas queen for Hallmark. Right. So I was very surprised to kind of see her as such a side character, especially because, like I said, my Netflix, all of the posters and the visuals I was getting were featuring prominently her. So I was surprised when I put on the movie and she was such a side character.
Well, this is a thing that
the
Netflix
algorithm
will do.
Yeah.
They'll change the poster based on what they think will interest you the most.
But it seems like that's a bad idea to do in this instance.
Because it's overpromising.
Seems like it backfired. Maybe they shouldn't do that.
Okay, well, so the plot for anybody who hasn't seen it, it's if you've ever seen She's the Man, it's She's the Man.
Or Twelfth Night by Shakespeare.
Yes, I guess that's the original text.
Yeah.
Who cares about the original?
I know. Ameerah, by the way, you're not a Shakespeare fan. I just want to get this said on the record.
I'm not, although I will be on record to say that I have studied Shakespeare very vividly. Yes. I am not a fan.
Right. Do you like
I love that.
Do you like the works of Shakespeare more or less than My Secret Santa?
It's broader, so probably more.
You probably like it more. Okay.
Okay, so My Secret Santa, this woman, she has to earn some money.
She has to. There's no other way but to do what she does.
She has to earn some money so that her daughter can go to a prestigious snowboarding academy.
Just a great niche reason for a movie. It's not even like her daughter needs to go to actual school or something.
Right. It's
just like a winter week-long program.
It's like snow camp or something.
Yeah.
But anyways.
But her daughter's a prodigy at snowboarding, so she deserves it deeply.
But the ski lodge needs a Santa Claus. So, and if you work at the ski lodge, I think it's like 50% off or something for your child to go to the academy. I think that's the idea.
Wait, and how does she make that work? Because she's lying to them about who she is. Does she say he's her uncle?
Oh my God, good point. Yeah, how does she pull off?
Does she
claiming?
Oh
her
no,
as
because
her
she
daughter?
does use the social security number. Anyways, sorry, we're
potential plot hole.
Yeah, potential plot hole of this. Yeah.
Okay, so she was going to she's pretending to be Santa Claus. And I was like, okay, she's just going to put on a silly wig, a silly beard. That's what normally people would do. But, oh no. Her brother, I think it's her brother, works in like the movie costume and makeup.
Yeah, it's a full Mrs. Doubtfire type situation.
Mm-hmm. Yes, full prosthetics. Mm-hmm. Think like White Chicks, Mrs. Doubtfire, that type of thing. And she transforms into a fat, jolly Santa Claus.
Yes.
And then she has a romance with the guy who works in the ski lodge. And he's like, oh, I'm kind of have the hots for Santa. What's going on?
Oh, yeah. Locker room scenes. Why aren't you taking your clothes off, Santa? And just the best. I mean, and like you have to understand, it just adds so much more to this classic trope of, for some reason, I feel like I can talk to you so much. I just met you, and yet we feel like we've been friends forever. That it's not just woman pretending to be a man. She is pretending to be Santa Claus, dressed as Santa Claus at that moment. He's like, I don't know why, but for some reason I feel such a connection to you. It's like broing down with Santa, and he wants to introduce him to everybody. And oh God, I was laughing.
We were cackling.
It got me so hard.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where at first I was like, this actress, well, we'll see how she does in this. But then when she puts on the outfit, I'm like, this is why they cast her. Her eyes, she could really do the sparkling Santa Claus eyes so well. She like really turned the charm on when she was under all that makeup. It was great.
I did really like the added element of like how well she pretended to know the kids because she was one of the moms. Yeah. So the kids are really kind of buying into this act of her being Santa because she knows so much about them, but she knows so much about them because she's the mother of one of the kids.
Right.
So it kind of added to the magic. One of the things that kind of threw me with this movie was her being a former rock star.
Yeah.
And so the
Oh,
music
yeah.
kind of comes in at odd times in odd ways. And I was like, how is this relevant to any part of the plot of the movie that we're doing other than the fact that she can sing?
She was dubbed in the final scene. She didn't play the guitar or sing.
It starts the movie. That's one of the big kind of mysteries that happens very early on in the film that rarely comes back. I think it comes back at the final scene.
It is a weird plot point and unnecessary.
This lead actress is Alexandra Breckenridge, by the way, which people might know as the saucy maid in the first season of American Horror Story.
Okay, but you know who she also is? She
There's a metatextual aspect to her casting.
You know how I said this movie's very similar to She's the Man? Like actual plot points similar. Like she goes to an event and she has to show up as both Santa Claus and herself. So she has to swap outfits in between, and her being in the locker room. That's like She's the Man. The lead actress plays Monique, Sebastian's girlfriend, in the movie She's the Man. So she was
my
in
gosh.
She's the Man.
Iconic.
I personally highly recommend this one. I guess Ameerah, you don't, but
I think had I been given the right context, this could have been more fun. But like I said, the advertising for me was so off-putting. And then I was like, what is this song? Who are these people? So yeah, I think maybe with a little bit of distance, I could come to like this movie now knowing what it's about.
Revisit it again at some appropriate time
Next
of year.
year.
I will say, so I loved this movie, and at the beginning, a problem that I do see with a lot of them is a lot of them kind of run out of steam.
Yes.
The best ones can't really sustain a level of energy that they want all the way through, and this is because they have to get serious, quote unquote serious, towards the end of the second act. They both have to be at odds with each other, but also it's this very artificial thing where it can't really be a problem, but it has to feel like a climactic moment of all is lost. There is something where even in these movies that have a great premise that they're exploring, there's often something towards the 2/3 mark that I would love to see one that I felt like where it was kind of all the way through the same, because I feel like a lot of these have great setups and then they kind of like, it's like the meme of the horse drawing.
I thought A Merry Little Xmas got better halfway through.
Yeah.
But usually I
agree.
totally agree with you. Like there was this movie Christmas in Tennessee that we watched from 2018, and I thought it was a fine movie, but then got way too serious and melodramatic halfway through, and it really made it tank for me personally.
So just a note for My Secret Santa 2.
So I think that was the crop of 2025 Netflix films. And overall, I thought it was a good showing from Netflix. They are doing this thing where they're elevating the Christmas movies a little bit, but still keeping them fun or having some sort of hook.
Not oversaturating.
Yeah, and they're pulling the nostalgic actors out for these lead roles, which I think is a really good move because you kind of recognize the name and then you want to kind of see what's happening, which is what they did last year with Lindsay Lohan. So it's been an interesting move.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now Lindsay is, I guess, back in theaters because she did Freakier Friday, and so she's kind of leveled up beyond that. And so just to really quick go back to like the three flavors that they are offering us with these three movies, right? We're just talking about three of them, right? Merry Little Xmas, Champagne Problems, and like Secret Santa?
No, but there's also Jingle Bell Heist.
Oh, Jingle Bell Heist, right,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so I feel like Jingle Bell Heist and My Secret Santa are these like high concept in between thing. Champagne Problems is trying to have a somewhat more hallmarky, lifetimey vibe, and then Merry Little Xmas is also an in between one. So I feel like Champagne Problems is the closest to a classic Christmas romance, and the other ones, well, I don't know. Am I miscategorizing these things?
No, I think you're right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. What do you want to move on to? Hulu?
Let's do it.
The first Christmas movie I watched of the season was Joy to the World, which was a 2025 Hulu film. This is one of those Chad Michael Murray Christmas movies. He's got, he's in this phase where he's got long hair. And I have to say, I think long-haired Chad Michael Murray, he's too soft-spoken and gentle, in my opinion. You're shaking your head. You disagree. Do you love him?
No, I agree. I don't like this new relaunch of Chad Michael Murray. I think it's very awkward and uncomfortable. I think they have him trying to be like a soft-spoken man in the same way he was as a teenage moody boy, and it's just not, it's coming off creepy to me than like kind.
Yeah, he comes across to me as dead inside. He does have some mildly funny, quiet jokes, but like, come on, you're just bring me a bit more, please, Chad Michael Murray. Sam, did you watch this one?
I didn't, but yeah, I guess we have to have our yearly discussion of Chad Michael Murray.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think he's happy in his life?
No,
No?
no,
I
I
don't.
don't.
What do you think was the last time he was happy? What was the height of Chad Michael Murray's life?
Maybe that oh fuck, what was that Lizzie McGuire? No, with the actress who
Cinderella
plays.
story.
Yeah. Maybe that
That is
one.
my peak Chad Michael Murray moment if I had to pick one.
Did either of you watch One Tree Hill?
Yes.
I mean, he wasn't my favorite part of that.
But that was so early in his career, it'd be sad if that was his peak.
It was early?
Not, it was mid. Gilmore
mid?
Girls, this is early.
Oh, I forgot he was in Gilmore Girls.
Me too.
I guess One Tree Hill going into a Cinderella story, because I feel like a Cinderella story was after that, but like soon after.
I feel like he's a
At least
man
we forget.
trapped.
He is. I think he's personally lost his audience.
Right.
There's been some petty retaliation between the One Tree Hill cast, and I feel like he's kind of lost his female audience, and so they're putting him in these little roles that make him seem softer and more approachable as a way to kind of convince the viewer that he's not the weird, awful guy he seems to be online. And I don't think it's working.
I don't know about this
Yeah, I don't
drama.
either.
Can
What
you
is it?
like give us a quick little potted summary of the drama?
Oh, I love this. So Chad Michael Murray was briefly married to one of his One Tree Hill co-stars, Sophia Bush.
Mm. Oh, she's
While
gay,
doing
right?
now, yes.
Now.
I think she was always queer, but now she is openly dating a woman. Yes.
Sure.
While they were married, he went to do House of Wax, the film, and allegedly had a affair with Paris Hilton, which blew up their marriage, and they ended up divorced. And now they occasionally have a back and forth online through comments or commentary about who the other one is dating or married to. And it just gets a little petty because of the drama with the One Tree Hill cast. A lot of the fandom does support the female leads of the show because of all of the assault and things that they went through. So it's him being against any of the female leads in any capacity has kind of lost him the audience.
I see.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's so interesting.
And his punishment is having long hair and being creepy in these Christmas movies.
Well, I think they're trying to play him up as like very docile and
Yeah.
very meek,
Right.
so that you kind of forget that he can be a little bit prickly.
Oh, that's so interesting because it does feel like they're trying so hard to make him so low energy. And like you said, docile is, I see that now. I totally see that that's what they're going for. And it makes it a worse Christmas movie than it needs to be.
Yeah. And this is his second attempt at a Christmas film in the last couple years. And this one is also not a hit for me.
Yeah. For me personally, it has that really low stakes energy. So if you do want to just put something very chill on, then this is a good movie for that because the plot is it's a woman who writes these kind of lifestyle books about like decorating and cooking and that kind of thing. She's a Martha Stewart type, but it's all fake. Like her own personal life is not what it seems. And she gets kind of wrangled into doing a Christmas special at her house. So she has to pretend that she's got this loving family and that she's got this beautiful decorated house. She does have a really nice house, but it's not Christmassy or anything. But the stakes are low in my opinion because she's already successful and she's about to stop writing books. So she's kind of got everything she already needs. It's more just, is she going to embarrass herself on this TV special or not? So I thought that it was a pretty calm movie, but I agree that it wasn't a hit for me.
The thing that I noticed about this movie almost immediately, this almost exact plot had already been done by Hallmark in a slightly better way. So when I started the movie, I was like, oh, this feels like something I've already seen before. And then I was like, oh, it feels like a worse version of something I've already seen before, which is kind of hard to do in this category of film, is to remake the movie and make it worse.
Oh, that's so funny because I actually don't mind if they give me the exact same plot because I'm just like looking for
You better not.
Christmas content. I acknowledge that it's hard to come up with something clever each time when it's such an oversaturated market.
I agree. But I think the thing about this one that I didn't love is that the supporting actors and the storyline around them also wasn't that believable. Like she essentially
Yes.
has to create a fake family for a television show because she has marketed herself as a amazing mother and a Christmas mom. So she pulls together these people in her neighborhood to create this fake family, and it slowly kind of starts to feel like family. But the side characters didn't really feel believable or like they even really liked her at most of the points. So I was kind of having a hard time believing that she felt like she was losing this family she created because the chemistry wasn't there.
Yeah, I agree. Side characters can make or break a Christmas movie. And in this case, they weren't that interesting or believable.
And it's tough with kids and stuff.
Yeah.
I do feel like a lot of times you got these teens that they sort of try to hide in the background
Right.
because they're sort of uncharismatic.
Did you believe the love story of Chad Michael Murray's character being in love with her their whole lives?
No.
Yeah.
He was doing such weird acting the whole time. I didn't believe that he wanted anything in life because he
Yeah.
just seemed weirdly depressed.
I agree.
All right, did everybody watch the Jonas Brothers Christmas movie?
Certainly.
I have been dying to talk about this film,
Yeah.
and I'm calling it a film on purpose.
Yeah, it's a film.
I can see that it's 2-against-1 here, but you give us your thoughts, Ameerah.
You didn't love this movie?
She's being weird about this. I don't
I
understand.
didn't.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, maybe you haven't been experiencing the Jonas family propaganda that I have been experiencing in the last year because they're currently on tour for their 20th anniversary. As a band, they have come together to start creating content and also do concerts. And in these concerts, they're kind of poking fun at their old persona, their old Disney Channel angles. They're poking fun at the fact that they had cheesy music, the purity rings, the weird YouTube videos they used to do, all of the things that kind of made them Disney machine classics. They're now having a little bit of fun with it. And this movie is the epitome of them realizing like, wow, we used to make terrible movies. So here's another one, but we know it's bad.
That does add something, knowing the context. Because I've never really been plugged into the Jonas Brothers world. I didn't watch their show growing up. I wasn't like a fan of their band when I was younger because I was like a little too old to be their target audience. And for some reason, I just never connected with them. But were you always a fan of the Jonas Brothers, Ameerah?
I was, yeah. I was a Disney kid. So if you were on Disney Channel at all in the early 2000s or mid 2000s, you eventually came across something with any Jonas involved.
Which one's your favorite?
Right now, as an adult, I'm Team Kevin. Prior to life, I was Team Joe.
Yeah.
I don't even remember which one's which.
God, even I can tell which one's which. Nick is the one who you sometimes see in real movies being boring.
Okay. No, wait. Oh, is Kevin
Joe is
like
the cute one.
And Kevin's the not cute one.
Yeah.
How dare you?
It's kind of the persona
Well,
that they give him.
Yeah, that's what they were joked about in the
Yeah.
movie.
Again, I'm Team Kevin.
Right.
Okay. Can you give us the plot of the Jonas Brothers movie?
So, a very Jonas Christmas movie follows the brothers as they race against all kinds of challenges to try to make it home for Christmas. They're racing from London to New York to try to make it home to spend Christmas with their families. I've heard it is a kind of new age take on planes, trains, and automobiles, which I haven't seen. But they have taken it and kind of poked fun at themselves and at the idea of trying to get home for Christmas. And it's a comedy movie, so it's not taking itself very seriously. It's also slightly a musical because they are a band. And it features a lot of original Christmas music that they've just released.
I would say as a comedy and as a musical, it's rather successful. I'm going to go ahead and say that this is another movie that I think loses a little steam towards the end. I think it starts very, very strong, though. And it's really, really funny. Their dynamic between the three of them is really hilarious, how out of touch and incapable they are of dealing with regular life, because they have to be in charge of getting themselves home, and their agent is out. He's gone unplugged because he's renewing his vows. So like he's their handler, and he can't help them for like 2 days. So there is at least a lot of great comedic potential for them to try and live a regular life where they're completely pampered celebrities who've been famous since they were children and don't understand anything about the real world. This is the best Will Ferrell performance in years.
Amazing.
In my opinion. Which, again, so, Ameerah, I'm going to let you in on a little reason why Elena doesn't like this movie. She doesn't like funny stuff.
Stop.
It's not exactly her wheelhouse.
I'm a comedy girl.
I know.
It wasn't my type of humor. I thought My Secret Santa was very funny. Okay,
Yes,
I appreciate
you
funny
did.
stuff,
Yes.
but I didn't.
But this is
I
going
did
for
not.
a strongly comedic vibe.
Yeah, like the Will Ferrell stuff, I
Yes.
was not laughing, so
Right.
it did not start off strong for me.
Oh, it was great. It was.
I thought
so
it
funny.
was. I thought it was very unfunny. I did not enjoy the fact that it was just commenting on the Jonas Brothers thing the whole time. Like there was one part that I thought was funny, and it was when they were doing the Home Alone musical spoof.
Oh
thing.
my God,
Amazing.
that was so brilliant. And that kid is so funny. The guy from No Hard Feelings.
Yeah, Andrew Barth Feldman.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
might
that
be
guy-
the best scene in the movie.
It really was an musical parodies, I mean parodies of Broadway style musicals can as a person who loves musicals, they can sometimes not taste right to me, but that was just so pitch perfect. But because they make music.
Yeah.
This is one of those movies where Santa Claus is real because Jesse Tyler Ferguson from Modern Family plays Santa Claus in this, and that was kind of fun.
Yeah,
I
but
always
like not a friendly one. He
Yeah.
plays a very mischievous version of Santa.
That's true. He's a
That's
trickster
true.
god of sorts.
Yeah,
Right.
you're totally right.
Like Santa is essentially kind of the enemy of this movie. Santa is
Yeah.
keeping them from getting home for Christmas as an attempt to kind of get them to be better brothers, better band members.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's for the greater good.
Yeah, but
It's true.
it's stopping them from getting home.
He's exploding planes.
Yeah, he's trying to kill them, essentially.
Yeah, he gets them in a plane crash. You got Laverne Cox in this?
Yeah.
Love to
Phenomenal.
see her. Been a long time, and she fucking killed it.
Yeah.
Plays a sort of
Love that.
Hollywood greedy agent character.
And I'm realizing now, as we're talking about the movie, if you're not familiar with the Jonas Brothers, who they were as a band, all the kind of drama they've had as a band, a lot of this movie will kind of go over your head. It
Oh,
pokes
not
fun
me.
at a lot of the things. Oh, okay, amazing.
I didn't know anything about them, but I got the dynamic instantly. No, don't
there's a
let
lot
Elena
of-
off the hook here.
It's just me then. Just me.
No, don't. Yeah.
There's a lot of nods to like the drama they've experienced as a band and the breakups they've had. They play over dramatized versions of themselves that we've seen through documentary of like the way they broke up and why they broke up. And I think one of the main plot points is Kevin, the oldest brother, wants to be able to sing, which has been like a drama with the band since it started, that he never gets to sing any vocals. So that's a main plot point of the movie, which again would go unnoticed if you weren't following the band.
I mean, I was sometimes aware that they're referencing something I just didn't get, but I'm sure a lot of the stuff that I felt like was overacting or cheesy or lame was actually an interesting commentary or like a fun little commentary on things that fans would already know.
But they just also have such good innate chemistry with each other that they really work well as a three-way comedy team where they each have a character game, and the way that they played off of each other and seamlessly go in and out of these musical moments, which some of these numbers were very well staged and choreographed.
Yes. Can we
The
talk
airport
about
number, yeah, like
phenomenal? Joe's opening number, his solo number, where he
Yes.
plays all of the roles of
Oh my
all
God,
of these celebrity
yes.
characters. Fantastic. I was like, this is exactly what I would want from a movie starring a band who's pretending to not really like love movies and be actors. This is
Yes.
fantastic. They have a very terrible musical that they did for Disney Channel. Opening like that kind of shows that they're like, okay, we know we do bad musicals.
right.
And here's how it would look if we did it now. And it was amazing.
Yeah, I thought that this movie was a huge success. It is hard to sustain variety when you have this much music in something. And it's many musicals, the songs start sounding the same. This is a short movie. It's like 75 minutes. And so they got in and out pretty well. It was action packed. There was a couple of moments where Kenny G comes in and was playing
Yes.
some sax. And I was like, this is fucking ripping. I loved it. I was like, maybe I need to listen to more Kenny G. I thought this was very buoyant and very a lovely addition of kind of high budget, or it was just kind of like this was not cheap looking. Like this was like a real movie.
Yeah, I agree. And it was nice that they had their whole family kind of involved in the film.
Yeah, I thought that was
Oh,
pretty cute. Yeah.
I hated seeing all the wives, and all the wives were like super plastic surgery. I don't know, trophy wife type. I'm like, ugh, I don't like this.
Every
But
year of these Christmas episodes, we're going to have another discussion about plastic surgery. Because
sorry,
I've amended my
sorry.
thoughts from last year. No. Because I was saying Lindsay Lohan made me realize that I like plastic surgery. And since then, I have come back around and been like, no, this has gone too far. I don't like it anymore. So I want to now officially say that I've gone to being it's too much. Not with Lindsay necessarily. She looks great. But, just with society in general. So
Okay, it's on record, Sam.
you brought it up.
No. I appreciate you updating us on your journey.
Yeah.
Okay, I personally only have one more 2025 Hulu thing to mention, and that's the Family Guy Hallmark episode.
Sure.
I don't have much to say about this, except that we watched it, and it was as if they made this episode 5 years ago. Like,
Yeah.
it just felt like it was commenting on tropes that are no longer applicable. The whole episode was just about how Christmas movies are conservative. And that just didn't feel to me to be as accurate anymore.
I agree.
Nor did it make me feel like I want Family Guy to take this woke scolds like tone. I'm like, that's not what I'm looking for in Family Guy. I don't know what I'm looking for in Family Guy, but it was this very sanctimonious vibe with every joke that I was like, that's not funny. And they also like explain the trope. Every 5 seconds they were saying, because this is a Hallmark movie, this is the trope that we're playing on. It was pretty bad.
It felt like whoever wrote it didn't watch enough Christmas movies.
Yes. No, it was.
They should listen to your episode.
Yeah, they
They
should.
really should.
It was somebody like walking past their wife and looking over their shoulder and catching 5 seconds of a Christmas movie and writing a joke based on that.
Okay. 2025 Amazon Prime films. I guess let's start with Tyler Perry's Finding Joy.
Yeah.
For whoever watched that one. I did not like this movie.
I kind of liked it.
Before we kind of do why you didn't like it, are you familiar with Tyler Perry films?
Yes.
Okay, that's the thing. That's
Yes,
the thing is
I know.
I may have watched some of one other Tyler Perry film, but I'm not sure. And I'm aware that it's a whole very specific brand.
Yes.
And I don't think I'm not meant to be the ideal audience. Like I don't think I am a Tyler Perry movie fan personally.
That's valid. I do think that he has a specific style of movie that he makes, that if you're unfamiliar with it, it's kind of jarring to watch and it can be very uncomfortable. So yeah, I think that probably does kind of play a role in how you feel about it.
I think some people come from the opposite direction with Tyler Perry, and they love to watch it because of how out there compared to most other media his work is, and just how like different the perspective that he has that you just don't get in anything else.
Yeah. He essentially writes like telenovela style
Yeah.
movies and shows.
Can I ask? Because that seems like that should be ideal for a Christmas movie, because Christmas movie plots are really contrived sometimes.
No, but it's there's a couple things that are cranked up in directions that are like, for me. Well, Ameerah, what do you think?
No, I think you're on the right path.
They're way more faith-based than a Christmas movie should be in a way, and way more sexual at the same time. That's what I think is cool about Tyler Perry, is he'll have these faith-based perspectives, but the characters are actually doing crazy stuff. I remember watching House of Pain. There's so many episodes that it's like, I mean, it's like a sitcom. The wife is smoking crack and burning down the house. And it's like, honey, why did you do that? And we need to have a talk about that, sweetie. And so this very like clear-eyed view of actual problems that face people, and yet kind of this sunny, faith-based Christian perspective in a way.
Yeah. And I think that that's the dynamic of a Tyler Perry project, is that there's going to be crazy, there's going to be outlandish, and it's always going to come back to God,
Right.
no matter what. So the faith through line is something that I think if you're not ready for it, you're going to be like, how did that happen? And then they just went to church and it's fixed. But that's the way it works.
Honestly, okay, here's my two issues with this movie. Well, first of all, I'm guessing this is a Tyler Perry thing, that the tone swung wildly from very silly, fun, jokey in the beginning to like super serious.
A harrowing near-death scene
Yes.
Amazingly well-directed action that's genuinely frightening.
So that threw me off, but it wasn't necessarily a turn off. But what really bothered me is I just thought the male actor was overacting way too much in a way that really bugged me. And then also once they got to the cabin, like there wasn't really a plot anymore. They were just kind of talking the whole time. So those are my two things with it that really, for me, made me not enjoy it. But there was this one part that I thought was really funny where she went to use the outhouse and accidentally her ass gets frozen to the seat, just like in A Christmas Story when the little boy's tongue gets stuck to the pole. Pretty funny, I thought.
Ameerah, did you like it? You're not saying what you thought.
I'm trying hard not to say what I thought because I have
really?
very complex feelings about Tyler Perry projects. I'll just say that. But I will say that like something to note about his movies is that sometimes you hit a wall where you're like, oh yeah, he used to write plays.
Yeah.
So like
yeah.
sometimes you hit something, you're like,
Yes.
this is getting weird, and it's because it's supposed to be in a play on
Yes.
a stage format. And so that can kind of happen with his stuff.
And he cranks them out too. Like that's another thing about the one location thing that I was watching, and I was like, oh, I kind of appreciate that this is just, I mean, this is like you see the economic mind working. How can I make this movie as fast as possible? And it's just like, it's just set in this cabin. They could have shot 90% of the movie over the course of like 3 days.
I have to say, I do think this is a great avenue for him to go down. It does work well for Christmas movie, even though
Was it Christmassy? No?
I thought it was. They were in a cabin the whole time and talking about Christmas stuff.
That's wintry. They're talking about
counts.
Christmas stuff?
That counts.
I kind of don't remember what they're talking about.
Wait, can I say a plot point that I thought was kind of funny? Okay, so the plot, by the way, is okay. So this woman, she is kind of not sure if she's dating this guy or not. So she's like unclear if they're in a relationship or
It
about
was
to
sad,
be in a
man.
relationship. Yeah, it was sad.
depressing.
So
I love this woman. She's kind of a star. Who is she?
Who's the actor?
The actress. I don't know.
The cast in front of me.
I don't either, but I was like, this lady's hot stuff. It's kind of crazy, the idea that she can't get a boyfriend.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at a picture and she's very attractive. Shannon Thornton.
Well, it's maybe get a better name. Maybe it's the
It's
name.
the name, clearly.
Yeah.
Okay, so she thinks that maybe she's in a relationship with a guy or they're about to be or something, and he invites her to meet his family, and she thinks like, okay, this is where we're really gonna seal the deal. But it turns out he was inviting her to meet his family so that he could ask her in front of his family to be his best man, best woman type thing.
Doesn't make a lot of sense.
Okay.
Invite her out to ask her this question in front of its family.
No, but there was this hidden plot point that they kind of briefly mentioned that he used to play football.
Right.
And that part of the reason why this maybe wasn't communicated clearly is because he might have had brain damage from playing football.
Oh, yeah, you're right. that is a part of it.
And I was like, that's a hilarious
yeah.
plot point. So she just like leaves because she's like, this is so awkward and I'm embarrassed. She leaves and then her car, it's the middle of a snowstorm, and she gets in a car accident and then falls through the ice and this guy saves her and then she gets snowed in his cabin. And that's the setup for the movie.
Ameerah, you're being so quiet. I feel like you're like, there's something stirring in you. I can't tell.
Yeah, there's just there's a complexity with Tyler Perry films that I have seen a lot. I watched some Tyler Perry shows. I watch a couple now. I respect what he does. He does not make my favorite films. He does not make my favorite movie or shows. So it's complicated. But I love the effort. A for effort always.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like in a society where there are not enough Black creators, it's hard to be like, this movie sucks. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
I love how weird they are, though. Confessions of a Marriage Counselor is one of the all-time weird movies to me. You know, I mean, it's just you don't get this perspective somewhere else. Like,
Sam, please.
What? You don't like that movie? The movie's insane.
It is insane. Gorgeous gowns, beautiful stars.
I don't agree with the perspective that you say. I am not a Christian. I'll agree. But I do really like, though, I do appreciate how religious it is, and yet it just is very sexual. And the people, I think that's a kind of a cool combination in a way that is, something that is obviously true of a lot of Christians and not played in a lot of faith-based entertainment.
that's true. Most Christmas movies, if they're Christian, they don't have sex.
Yeah. And I like that the faith element doesn't always keep them from necessarily having problems.
Yeah.
It's not like a fix it for all of the disasters in each film or for each
Right.
character.
Yeah, and this one had a kind of a decent twist on the how are you going to resolve the city versus country divide that I thought it did a good job of splitting the atom there.
You want to transition to Oh What Fun for anybody who watched that one?
Yeah.
This one is not a Christmas romance.
No.
Unlike all the others. This is like, I think this one's going for a classic, like a new Christmas classic.
Yes.
But it's not going to be. It's not
VHS
going to be
classic.
one for me.
No.
I agree.
Yeah. It started off cool. I was into it at first.
Me too.
It has a really strong start. I think like
Yeah.
the first half maybe
Yeah.
is pretty solid.
When do you want to give a plot synopsis?
The mother of this family, Claire, she plans a special Christmas like she does every year, but this year her family essentially forgets about her. So when she realizes that they're kind of taking her for granted, she decides to just leave in the middle of their Christmas celebration and head to California to her favorite talk show celebrity.
And the talk show celebrity is the woman who was in that. What was that?
Ava
TV
Longoria.
show? Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
What's that TV show she was in?
Desperate Housewives.
Yes, right. Okay, thank you.
This is a star-studded cast. Ava Longoria is the least of this. I mean, no shade, but I mean, like this has Michelle Pfeiffer, Dennis Leary, Jason Schwartzman, Chloe Grace Moretz,
Danielle Brooks briefly.
Felicity Jones, Dominic Cessna, who's now becoming a bit of a Christmas queen in his own right, I guess. Like they're casting him to like evoke the holdovers. And this movie is a mashup of different familiar tropes in Christmas movies, and also combining other media elements. This is an extremely mediated movie. They go to see a parody of So You Think You Can Dance. There's this fake TV show. She's supposed to be kind of like Oprah, I think. She speaks in kind of an Oprah cadence. But the movie itself is a mashup of a family getting together, like the Family Stone kind of thing, or it's like one of these family reunion things. There's a Jingle All the Way sequence, a Home Alone type plot line, and then it kind of becomes a Planes, Trains, and Automobiles riff, is the idea. She got to share a room with a sassy sidekick friend. It's got all of these elements that it's trying to match together. And I think my problem with this movie is it sets up Michelle Pfeiffer as this overcranked, Christmas-obsessed matriarch. The idea is she's been driven crazy by how mean her own kids have been to her. But then the movie arrives at a place that's a little... And then she drives across country in a sort of mad act. She is losing her mind, but the movie treats her as like, no, you are right. You're being overlooked. Your family is taking you for granted, but they kind of weren't, or they were. But I would have loved it if she actually was more, not villainous, but less sympathetic in a way.
No, I think you're right. I think the issue that I had with it, and you kind of touched on this a little already, is that her family is taking her for granted, yes, but they're also taking each other for granted.
Yeah.
So she does not become special because they are ignoring her. They're ignoring each other.
Yeah.
And so the essential plot of the movie is that they're ignoring her. But if everyone's getting ignored, then what's the story?
Yeah.
And Sam, you had mentioned to me prior to recording this that you felt like the movie couldn't decide how they felt about the mom overall. I think that's exemplified, in my opinion, in how she's obsessed with this talk show and she wants to be nominated for Best Mom of the Year or something like that. And she wants her kids to nominate her and they don't because they're like, oh, what's this thing you keep messaging
Too caught
me
up
about?
in their own lives and she's being a nag.
It's annoying if somebody wants you to nominate them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't automatically deserve to get nominated just for being a great mom. It's weird that she wants to be nominated so she can go on this trip. And then her husband's like, well, I can just buy you a trip. We can go together to Cancun. I'll take you to Cancun or wherever she wants to go. And she's like, no, it's not the same. And I'm like, come on, he's offering to take you on a trip. Like, he is really trying here and trying to appreciate you, and you're being petty because you want it to be through this TV show that you like. She didn't really earn the whole underappreciated mom thing.
And she's overdoing it with all of the Christmas stuff. And it is clearly a strange obsession of hers.
Yeah.
But the movie is presenting it as like, no, she is really, like, sure, she's a little bit obsessive, but she is really creating the perfect Christmas for them, and they don't appreciate it.
And the scene where she gets forgotten, it's that they're all going to go see this dance show that she bought tickets for.
That Felicity Jones is like, why did you get these tickets? But they don't really follow through on that thread. That Felicity Jones is kind of put out by her having bought these tickets in the first place.
Right. She's kind of like doing a lot that nobody's really asking for. But anyway, so they leave her behind by accident because they're all rushing to get in multiple cars. So they don't notice that she didn't get in one of the cars. It's an easy freaking mistake to make, okay? It's an easy mistake to make. And once they get there, they realize that she's not there with them. They immediately realize that once they're all together, it was a simple mistake to make. And she, as soon as she realizes they left without her, which was like 2 minutes prior, she could have called them and asked them to turn around, but she doesn't. And come on now, that's not that big of an offense, in my opinion.
Yeah, the movie essentially becomes like, who's the real victim here? And they all are kind of the villain. So it's hard to feel sympathetic for anybody in the movie. I think in talking about it now, this plot could have worked better if her kids were younger.
Yes.
If they weren't fully adult children coming home for Christmas, it would have felt a little bit more earned, that like she's trying to make it important and special for them and they're just not appreciating it because they have their own families. They don't really need her to make it special.
The movie sets it up as if there is something a little bit weird about how continued her obsession with Christmas is.
Mm-hmm.
But then it treats it as if she is just being this homemaker who's making a perfect little Christmas for her little darlings. But like, she's a grandmother.
Right.
And and then the family all have their own dynamics that they are sort of start off as interesting and relatable, and then they just resolve them all in very bland and boring ways.
There were like cute family moments in the beginning,
Yeah.
like when they open the door to greet the son and they're all doing this cute choreographed little dance. That's a really adorable family moment that feels relatable to me and really cute. Or this moment when the brother-in-law and the brother have to go get something for the mom and the one just mutters to the other, fast walk race or something like that. And I loved that. Otherwise, the whole family was shitty to each other. And I really hated how mean the one daughter was to the brother-in-law. Like, I felt like that was, I did not like watching that.
I agree. Can we talk a little bit about the end?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Because there's a switch that happens towards the last quarter of this movie where suddenly it becomes a story about like mothers being underappreciated.
Right.
Yeah.
But they neglect to kind of realize that like she has a daughter who is a mother too.
Yes.
And
Right.
that mother is being underappreciated.
Totally.
So
Yeah.
then the final conflict of the movie is kind of both of them realizing like, oh, we're both underappreciated moms and we're not appreciating each other. And I was kind of like, it felt flat to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just it has too much going on. There's too many characters, and it wants to have. This is directed by Michael Showalter, by the way, who is a true blue comedy auteur. He is one of the architects of comedy that shaped me as a child. He was the writer of Wet Hot American Summer. He, was in The State, and he directed The Baxter, and they came together. And he's made the transition now. He made The Big Sick, and that movie My Name Is Doris. So he's kind of moving more into this gentle phase, and I think he's a perfect person to try and make his own version of a Christmas movie. This movie just had a lot of potential, and again, a crazy stacked cast. You just wonder how they attracted everybody to this, and if it was like a project that was under development for a while. I'm happy for Michelle Pfeiffer to get this kind of role, but it just all felt like a lot of really wasted potential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did like the dance scene between the son and the cute neighbor girl when they were in the bar.
I really liked the neighbor villain dynamic.
Yes.
The like
Yeah.
competing neighbors across the street. I
Right.
love that trope in Christmas movies.
Yes.
And I thought that was really fun, especially to like Romeo and Juliet it at the end with the kids. But the storyline also kind of didn't really go where I wanted it to go or where I needed it to go to be like a significant plot.
Well, because
Yeah,
it was
and
too
then-
easy. It was just the kid is like, I have a crush on this girl, but she'll never like me. And then 5 seconds later, she's like, I know who you are and I like you. And he's like, oh, great.
Right.
And it was also so weird when they brought his ex back at the end.
Yeah.
Maud
like-
Apatow.
Maud Apatow, yeah, right. But I was like, is this like a dream sequence? Like, what is going on here? It was very strange.
Mismanaged tone. all
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thumbs down for me.
Yeah,
Ultimately.
it's bad.
Yeah, I agree.
And speaking of bad, Sam and I watched Merv. Did
Oh,
you watch
God.
that one, Ameerah?
No. Now
Well,
I'm curious.
This was the worst of the year.
Oh.
Yeah. Don't watch it. It's depressing.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Sam, can you give the plot for this one?
Zoe Deschanel and some guy are a pair of people who've broken up but they share a dog and that they are co-parenting, and the dog is having joint custody between the two of them, and they're shuffling the dog back and forth between them. They find out that the dog is depressed, and so the guy takes the dog on a retreat. Like, he takes him to a Floridian dog Christmas retreat. There's not a lot of Christmas in this movie.
That's the cardinal sin.
Go without Christmas.
There was no Christmas. It was terrible.
Well, it becomes a picaresque journey because she crashes this vacation that he's taken the dog on. This is an incredibly complicated setup. The dog is depressed, by the way. There's nothing actually wrong with the dog. He's like, the dog just needs to get cheered up. So they go down to Florida, and it's like a picaresque journey that they take. They have little misadventures. She's going and visiting his parents, and then what else happens? What else do they do?
Oh, I think that's kind of it.
I guess that's
I don't know.
But the point is, like, there's no structure to this movie. There's no central thing other than the dog, but you kind of lose the dog at a certain point. It just becomes about them hanging out with each other.
Yeah, it's just depressing. The dog's depressed, and they're both depressed, not being together. And it's not like A Merry Little Xmas where they still have really good chemistry and they're having a good time together still. It's more just like they're both depressed about not being together. And it was not Christmassy at all because it takes place at a beach resort, and they're not even trying to make it Christmas.
Zooey Deschanel is clearly playing a woman who's meant to be an early 30s Zooey Deschanel character. And Zooey Deschanel is already entering into kooky grandma mode. She is not getting enough plastic surgery or something.
Stop it, Sam.
No, I mean, she's wearing bright blue eyeshadow on, and she's looking older. So she just looks like an older woman who's still dressing like a child. It's weird.
Totally down for older. I want older women in movies.
Yes,
but they're casting her in a younger role to play
clearly
a quirky
playing
young
younger.
person.
Yeah, right.
She's playing the old version of herself, essentially.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like the younger version of herself.
She's looking like the old version of herself. Like she.
But they're trying to have her play they're trying to have her play
Pixie Dream Girl.
Exactly.
I mean, she's a little bit more serious in this because she's an eye doctor. So she's not like a ukulele player or something.
But she shows up at she crashes his vacation in a crazy way. So.
Yeah.
Anyways, skip this one. It's bad.
It's
I
really
did
bad.
not like it. It's not so fun as bad. It's like just depressing bad. It's a downer. Okay, Sam, and then there were a bunch of 2025 Prime movies that I think you're the only one who watched.
Yeah, I watched
not the big ones. They were kind of like more small 2025 ones.
Right. I watched A Home for Christmas. This was one of the renovation ones. It's about a woman going back. She lives in Italy, but now she's going back to her hometown. Her dad's dead, and she wants to renovate her old town. Like her friend who's a realtor who still lives in town is selling the house. She has this dream of renovating the house and getting it decorated back the way my old dad used to do it every Christmas. One last time, even though we only have 2 weeks, the best contractor in town is my ex-boyfriend. She falls back in love with him. This movie's horrible. I watched A Dickens of a Christmas, this was kind of a wild movie. This woman, she's romancing a guy who's a renovator or a carpenter or something. He just has to fix all this stuff. She meets him at a Victorian-era Christmas party thing where she's dressed in Victorian dress. There is a ghost who nobody knows about ever in the movie, but the ghost exists and kind of does little things to make stuff happen that brings people together. But it's all doesn't really have anything to do with that. It's more about the fact that finds a book that's a magical set of summaries of Charles Dickens stories. This book, she seems to be reading the book, and the book is just every chapter is what happens in a different Dickens book. So, but not a Christmas Carol. Like she's summaries of the different, not a Christmas Carol, pointedly so.
Yeah.
So she's reading like summaries of David Copperfield or whatever, and pictures in the book look like her and this handyman guy.
You're kind of selling me on it.
I mean,
yeah, I'm kind of in.
Okay, well, go ahead. I mean, it's pretty. This wasn't that bad. She does have a death in her past that she has to get over. A loved one died in a tragic snowplow accident.
As they do.
And so she's very triggered by snow.
Is it a serious film, or is it meant to be like tongue-in-cheek?
What I'm trying to illustrate about this movie is it's throwing on a lot of elements. There's hockey. She's got to coach a hockey team. There's a lot of stuff going on in this movie. Yeah, maybe I would recommend it. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a Dickens of a good time.
I'm sold.
Yeah, you should check it out. We still have 4 days of Christmas. And it's these movies do often involve people having kids absurdly young, which always does help it make sense that all these attractive adults are single. There's no way these people would be single if they didn't have a kid when they were 17 or whatever. Okay, I watched Merchants of Joy, which was an interesting intersection of streaming service trends, a puff piece documentary and Christmas movies. It's based on an article that was written about these 5 connected families that are in charge of the Christmas tree trade in New York City. They're fighting against the big box stores, your Targets and Walmart. And anywhere you buy a Christmas in New York on the street, it's run by these 5 families. And they all kind of know each other. Usually they gave each other their start in the business. Kind of a Jiro Dreams of Sushi thing where they're all in the process of succession and they're going to pass this business on to their kid. So it's kind of a good documentary.
And then A Joint Custody Christmas. That was the last one you watched.
Yeah, more divorce. This movie was wild. It should have been called a fentanyl Christmas. It was about a divorced husband and wife. The wife is a cop. The husband is the head of a hospital. And this judge, they're attempting to make joint custody work with their kids, but the judge forces them to get a house for their kids to live in that they both come to visit. This didn't really have much to do with what the movie was mostly about, which was them as a pair falling back in love as they uncover a fentanyl ring that is attempting to take over his hospital that she has to bust because she's a cop.
Oh my God.
It's kind of like a Jingle Bell Heist in the sense that it's like cop or action thriller mixed with Christmas.
Yeah, it's kind of a cop movie. A cop movie and a medical movie combined. And it's not a lot of Christmas. Eric Roberts, Julia Roberts' dad, played the judge in a series of scenes that no doubt took him less than 6 hours to be shot out from.
Did you like it?
I thought it was okay.
Would you recommend it as a movie or as a Christmas movie?
I don't know if it would really work as either of those for most people, but a kind of weird combination of elements once you get to the fringes of these Christmas movies, you do start seeing the creators' minds spin out a little bit in a way that can be kind of compelling when they're plumbing the depths for what hasn't been done in this genre. I would say a decent example of that.
So that's interesting. So this is your first year, Sam, watching kind of a lot of these movies, and you watched high budget ones and also low indie level ones. Mm-hmm. Do you find that you kind of liked one more than the other? Because like you said, the indie ones do kind of take more chances. Yeah. But the higher budget ones just have better acting, better budgets, better people.
Yeah, I do. So I watched some of the ones that we're going to talk about, I guess, later, if we still have time. We're interested in talking about these. The Lifetime ones that Hulu scoops up last year's. Mm-hmm. I think I might be a little bit of a purist in that way. I like what they're giving me on Lifetime and Hallmark in a way. TV. Yeah, the made for TV. There's something about that I do get the comforting feeling from. Whereas some of these I find myself, like Elena and I almost got into a fight when we tried to watch Looking for Her. The movie
which you recommended last year, Ameerah.
Yes.
Yeah. I am really excited to finish
it. You didn't actually recommend, Ameerah. You said you thought it didn't come together. I went back and listened to the episode. You said you were
But it was on my list.
Yeah, you were pleased with the lesbian representation, but to me, that movie just had this crazy long setup where they would just so many scenes of establishing the friend groups, and I was like, get to the premise. This is taking too long. It's not a movie, and so that's the kind of stuff that I cannot abide. Bad writing on that level. Indie bad writing on that level.
Okay, so the thing for me is that if something is really indie and clearly very low budget, I'm going to give a lot more leeway to things like that. I'm going to forgive a lot of those things because it's impressive to be able to make a movie at all, on low budget circumstances. So I am charmed by whatever they can do well, given how difficult it is to make a movie with limited resources.
It's good we're relitigating this argument that we had on Mike, because the writing is, I cannot get past that. I can get past bad acting. I can get past bad camera work, bad lighting, but a movie takes place over a span of time. To me, when there's major structural issues, it's just spending too much time in this expositional moment, that is a more foundational problem for me than, this is ramshackle and cutesy and I can get past it. This is just boring to me.
Ameerah, what are your thoughts on big budget Like Netflix
Yeah.
versus, mid-budget Lifetime Hallmark versus low-budget Prime movies.
I do agree with Sam in this instance. I think I do lean towards like a made for TV, which is a middle ground, kind of not high budget, but also not very, very low, because I do think that they take a little bit more time, especially in a space like Hallmark or Lifetime, which this is their season. They spend all year crafting these movies because they know that this is when they get so much viewage, so like a vaster audience. I find myself leaning more towards those because even though they're very formulaic and they're very predictable, you can tell that the creators of the project really put some time into it. I think when you kind of get into the recesses of Amazon Prime or you hit Tubi, which I did a lot this year, you kind of start to get some people taking some drastic creative liberties in ways that they didn't necessarily need to, or like we did need to add Christmas into that space, which can be fun, but also can be really awkward and uncomfortable. So you need kind of like a middle ground.
Yeah, maybe it's because I mean, my other partner is an indie filmmaker, and so I've been going to these small film festivals and seeing a lot of really like no budget, like zero budget indie films. And I know that even if it seems like not as much time was spent making sure the plot was good, all these things, they actually in real life put way, way, way more time and effort into those films because it's just a handful of people making them, as opposed to the Hallmark Lifetime movies where they have a factory production type situation where they will film them in 3 days on a set that they use for a bunch of other Christmas movies, and they just churn them out because they know the formula, they know how to do them, and they have the people already signed on who have made a bunch of them already, and they know how to do their thing, and they don't have to think about it as much. So for me, there's a lot of charm in a really low budget Christmas movie, and for me it's fun that I personally like every level of quality Christmas movie, I think.
I appreciate them all, but again, and we had this argument before, so I'm really glad that it's happening on mic. I just think obviously I agree with you, Elena. I love indie film. I just think that the combination of a scrappy indie filmmaker and a Christmas movie where it is attempting to somewhat play to a formula is a bad combination. I would rather have somebody who doesn't really have the skills to execute it make something that is less attempting to be formulaic and craft-based than a Christmas movie. I think it's a very weird combination when you see this person who put a certain degree of that indie passion into something that also feels weirdly mercenary to them, or it feels like they're trying to make a product. It's a strange combination, which again, maybe that is itself its own unique flavor, but
Yeah, I see your point. I do think there's indie filmmakers who make a Christmas movie and genuinely love making Christmas movies, and they're not just doing it as like an attempt to be a moneymaker. But I do see your point.
it's not even about making money. It's about it's like these are a craft, not an art.
Yeah.
Speaking of the TV movies, Ameerah, do you want to walk us through some
Yes.
of your favorite 2025 releases on the Lifetime or Hallmark channel? Because Sam and I didn't have access to those. So
We'll catch him next year.
Yeah, when Hulu snaps them up.
Well, I feel like we should actually kind of talk about both because I watched a lot last year too. So if we want to touch base on like some of the ones you guys were able to
Cool.
watch this season, as well as like some of the newer ones that I saw, I think that would be kind of fun.
Sounds good.
Sure.
I mentioned this earlier, but Hallmark did renew their deal with the NFL. So there was another NFL Christmas movie this year. Holiday Touchdown is what the series is being called now. And this one was a Bills love story. This one followed a family who was into the Bills, of course. The daughter is a doctor, a pediatric doctor, and she has just had like a bad time dating, a hard time with love. And her family and her are very big Bills fans. And her childhood best friend, who is, of course, in love with her, is working in construction and he gets commissioned to build the new Bills Stadium. So then their story is kind of about them falling in love with this idea of the Bills in the background being central to her family and to the development of their love story. I had issues with this movie. I had issues with the last one, too.
Are they the same issues?
Maybe. I think in this one, it had all of the regular formulaic parts of a Christmas movie from Hallmark that I usually love, and they just threw the Bills in for like a sprinkle.
Like a movie that's kind of like a commercial for something?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think we talked about this earlier. At one point, they're decorating the house for the holidays, and the family is putting all the lights together, and everyone's gathering outside so they can light the lights for the first time of the season. And they plug in the lights, and the family gasp. You see the family, and then they turn the camera, and the house says, "Go Bills," in Christmas lights.
That's kind of funny. Did it not? It didn't
Yeah.
work for you?
I was like, oh, that you want me to buy that this is your holiday display and that you do this annually?
Was it so? It
Yeah.
wasn't a joke in the movie. Like
No, it
they were
stayed
just
that way
like,
the whole movie.
They were like, "Oh, that's nice."
"What a wonderful Christmas!"
They're like, yes, we love it. Like their family mantra was like, go Bills. So they would randomly say that during family things. They'd be like, we're going to go get the Christmas presents. Ready? Go Bills. What?
Oh.
What I thought was kind of charming about this movie is that the main character is a pediatrics doctor, so often you would kind of get like the Bills characters sprinkled into the background of like the hospital, like they're visiting the kids or they're doing charity work and they just happen to have the players around, which I think was like a good way for them to keep the NFL through line of the movie, but also for her family to be such heavy fans and then the players are just always around. How do these two things exist at the same time?
Yeah, they would go insane.
Yeah, if you're a fan and like
Yeah, right.
the players are just hanging out at your job,
Yeah.
are you even a fan if you're not freaking out? So, yeah, I thought the movie was fine. I think they chose a team that I'm just getting into football, guys. I'm just starting. So,
Oh,
unlike last
nice.
year where it was the Chiefs and everyone was kind of talking about the Chiefs because of the Taylor Swift
Yeah,
of it
they're
all.
over now.
Yeah.
Yes, the Bills, I was kind of like, well, why did we choose the Bills? What is the thing that made you choose this team out of all of the NFL?
Who would you have
And
chosen?
I'm not sure. That's a good question.
Who's the hot team right now? Like who did you watch this season?
I am actively in a fantasy football league. I just started. This is my first year.
Ooh.
I know. I'm trying to become a sports girly. So
Someday I'll become a sports girly too. People seem to get a lot out of it.
it's fun. I think you learn a lot. They should have went with a player that people kind of are talking about a lot because that's kind of what they did last year. So I feel like they could have even gone with the Eagles because they won the Super Bowl and
Right.
just done it around the Eagles. Something that makes it feel like it's relevant to people who don't follow football.
I will say though, the Bills have a really strong fan base. I mean, they're also a strong fan base for Eagles also, but like the Eagles fan base, they're kind of like, oh, fuck you guys if the Eagles start sucking. You know, they're really mean to their team when they're not doing great. Whereas I think the Bills, I could be totally wrong, but are just die hard, but also supportive of their team.
Yeah, I mean, I think that can be true for most football teams. They have their diehards. If they were going to go like classic Americana, they could have went with the Cowboys, which is the team that plays every Christmas, I think. There was options. So I'm curious like what led them to the Bills and what if they're going to continue this on, what's going to be the reasoning behind the team they choose? Is it just because they had more people willing to be in the movie?
Yeah, it's probably. I think you're on you're on the trail with it's some kind of licensing agreement. Some marketing person is pushing for.
Maybe they had access to the stadium, so they were like,
Right.
"We're going to do the Bills this year because you guys can film here."
Okay, so it didn't hit for you.
It wasn't my favorite, no, but I don't think I liked last year's either. I think I'm still trying to find my groove with this NFL style Christmas movie and how I think they are too, trying to figure out how they can evenly tie in this element of the NFL with the elements of a Christmas movie. I think they did better this year, but it still didn't quite work for me.
Okay, lay another one on us.
I don't know how familiar you are with Hallmark, but Hallmark kind of has three branches. They have Hallmark Mystery, Hallmark Classic Channel, and Hallmark Family. The Family and the Mystery Channel will get more religious than the Classic Channel does. So this one came from, I think, the Mystery Channel, and it's called Thank God, Christmas at Keller Ranch. The plot of it is that a pro hockey player finds romance
Nice.
at a ranch, an equestrian ranch, for people who are having some kind of health issues. They go, they work with the horses. It's supposed to heal them. So a pro hockey player who has gotten hurt on the ice, he goes to this ranch to kind of rehab and get himself back ready for the game. And he falls in love with the woman who runs it and does the therapy. It could have worked. I mean, like the idea of him like leaving celebrity to go and be on this ranch is classic Christmas movie trope. But the added element of him being like a pro hockey star and trying to learn to be around horses, it didn't really work, and the hockey took such a back seat to the story, even though that was kind of why he was there, because they're so far removed from it. So it kind of felt like, oh, this guy is just at a ranch, and at the end, we're at a hockey game suddenly.
When are they going to make a big curling? There's tons of winter sports. The luge.
Yeah.
Yep.
Curling, I think, would be fun. You could see it curling. You're
No, I think
shaking your head.
these movies that are like based on a sport or something, they ultimately don't work.
No, but
I
curling
agree.
is not a hard sport. Or it doesn't seem hard. You know what I mean? Like
I
curling,
know,
you
but
could actually you could have like goofy members on the curling team. The sweepers they have a certain set of personality, and then
I think as long as
curling
they're
rivals.
all actual actors, it would.
Yeah.
I mean, he is an actual actor, which maybe didn't quite sell the hockey element of it. They also really want you to buy this budding romance of these two characters in the movie, but they start the film off with the female lead having just lost her husband. Everyone's like, "Oh my God, it's so sad your husband just died, and like you and your son are struggling, and like your ranch is struggling, and now you're falling in love a few weeks later."
That's too quick.
It's weeks later. It's kind of hot, almost.
It's a bold choice. It's not
Yeah.
wrong, but I was like, wow, if we're starting with the grief, don't expect me to think she's gonna fall in love.
Yeah. Sam and I watched I think it was originally a Lifetime from last year, but it was on Hulu this year, called Renovation Romance. And I thought that one was kind of fun. It was weird because the main character, she had a TV show with her boyfriend. So they have a home renovation TV show, but part of the show is that they also fix couples' relationships through it. And so she is both a home renovator and a therapist. And that is a crazy mix of things, in my opinion.
Good idea for a show if you could actually find somebody who could do this.
I liked the guy. He was quirky and weird, and he looked attractive from certain angles and then goofy from other angles, and that was kind of fun.
I thought the guy was a little funny looking. The main woman is absurdly attractive.
But she's also like a bad actress.
Yeah, she's a bad actress, but it's like she was too attractive, and then they have scenes where she's really overselling how hot the guy is. She's like, yeah, you are. I mean, I guess some people would call you attractive or whatever, but you would never be this flustered over this guy. I don't know.
I don't know. I kind of liked them as a couple, but I would say that what
I did too.
was terrible about this movie is the whole point was that they were renovating this cabin thing, and they don't change it at all. They just add more Christmas decorations and they knock down one wall, and it clearly is just shot in like a big open warehouse style place. It did not look good at all. None of it looked cozy or Christmassy, and decorations were terrible and chintzy, and that part was cheap.
Yeah, the renovation was bad, and spoiler alert, she also doesn't fix their relationship because she's sliding in there. But this actually made me think, because so Elena's family rents this lodge near Lake Placid, which there's like a number of Lake Placid set Christmas movies. I'm wondering if we'll see a Christmas movie shot in there.
It's a great location.
Picturesque,
Yeah. They could totally shoot a movie in there.
By the
You
way,
gotta do it.
I want to say that I've used the word picaresque and picturesque
I've noticed.
in this episode.
So the next one that I watched, it is a Lifetime movie. And it's called Jingle All the Way to Love. This
Oh my God.
Right, solid title. It's basically a woman is gifted lucky sleigh bells one day by a stranger. And he tells her that they're lucky and that they have rules. You get the sleigh bells. When your luck comes, you have to give them to a stranger. And then he vanishes. So, of course, she gets lucky. She passes them along. And she tells the story on a radio contest. And the radio show host decides the story is kind of fascinating and they want to try to track down the bells and what happened to them, like who she passed them to next, but also the person who gave her the bells, because it seems like there's some kind of misconnection love story there. So while they're trying to track down this mystery guy who gave her the bells and the rest of the lucky stories from the other people who received them, the two people, the woman and the radio show host, they kind of start to fall for each other. During the process of this, she is, of course, engaged to someone else. So she's trying not to fall in love with him, trying not to be in love with the guy who gave her the bells, and trying to make it work with her fiance, who is a doctor who has no time for her. I thought this movie had a lot of tropes that I was familiar with, but took it in a different way. The fact that we don't really stick with the element of the lucky sleigh bells and passing them around kind of surprised me, because that itself is a Christmas movie. So I was shocked that we didn't stick with that plot story. And the fact that spoiler alert, she does end up finding the guy who gave her the bells, and he is not at all interested in her.
Nice.
Oh.
That's good.
He's kind of just like, I gave it to you for luck. Sorry, my luck was that they led me to my wife. So,
Nice.
so he's like, I'm sorry if I misled you, but they were just supposed to be lucky. You're supposed to pass them along. I didn't mean for you to fall in love with me and be pining for me all these years. So I really liked those elements of the story. I thought it was interesting. The radio show development of it, I really could have taken it or left it. But I think it's worth the watch, if only because it has some tropes, but it doesn't follow any of them.
Yeah, I like this plot line.
Yeah. When you said you're like, she's kind of gets in the radio show host, I was like, oh, I'm intrigued.
I like these movies where it's like guy helps girl get with other guy. This is a Christmas movie thing. We talked about Meet Me Next Christmas last year,
Right.
and really like that one. I also watched a 2022 Lifetime movie that was on Hulu called Christmas Plus One. And that also was a similar thing where she gets a ride from a stranger and connects with him over their favorite things to do in New York City for Christmas. But then she loses his number. And the rest of the time, she's trying to go to their favorite Christmas haunts to meet up with them, to rekindle that missed connection. But along the way, she meets up with this guy who's trying to write an article about stuff to do in New York City for Christmas, and he's trying to help her find the guy, but they're kind of having a budding romance. And I really liked that. I really liked the connection between the two characters. I felt like they had really good chemistry, so I enjoyed that movie a lot. Although every scene, there were only like 2 or 3 extras in the background, and that felt really low budget to me.
For New York, yeah.
But yeah, I think I'm just a fan of that plot line.
I like it too.
Agree. Yeah, there's something about that I'm trying to lead you somewhere else, so we're being friends dynamic of the romance that makes it feel more believable that you actually fell in love with this person because you weren't trying to.
You weren't even looking right in front of your nose.
I will say that Jingle All the Way to Love, like its title, has some very, very hard lines to hear. Just some very cheesy one-liners that I'm kind of like, I wish you wouldn't have even tried to say that out loud. But I still think for the plot, it's kind of fun.
Are there any non-2025 movies you guys watched that you enjoyed? Christmas movies specifically.
I mean, I want to steer people away from a couple of ones that I don't like.
Rattle off the titles.
I didn't like Christmas Under the Northern Lights. Christmas Perfection, I thought, was an interesting premise that made you sick of Christmas.
The actor in that one was so monotone.
Yes.
That it made me want to punch him.
Well, because they were Irish, but they were all pretending to be American. Or was he actually American? There were some weird accent stuff.
Yeah, it was like people having to do 2 accents at once, and it was not working.
A Cinderella Christmas Ball, I thought, was dreadful.
Oh, that one was bad. It felt like it was written by AI or something.
Yes.
That one was definitely a faith-based one, because randomly in the middle of it, it was like, we belong where God puts us. And I was like, oh, we're watching a faith one. I watched A Very Merry Beauty Salon, which Ameerah mentioned last year, and I loved it. It was so fun. It was a great zero-stakes Christmas movie. I thought the dialogue was so naturalistic. I really liked the relationships between the women who worked at the salon. They interacted together as if they were actual friends. But yeah, so I reassert Ameerah's recommendation for that one.
Yes, I think it's on Netflix now, so check it out if you can.
I watched this really low budget, felt like a student film movie on Prime. It was a 2024 film, but I think actually maybe 2025 was when it was available on Prime. I could be wrong. It's called Doc Holly's Christmas. And I'm telling you, it's so low budget that the audio is bad quality and acting is...
You're like lighting up as
really
if you have gotten the most wonderful present under the tree.
This movie, I'm telling you, was so bad quality, but it's because it was clearly made by just a handful of people in their hometown. And I had a blast watching it. It was definitely like a so bad it's good type thing, but I don't like saying so bad it's good because that's like saying the movie's bad when they clearly had way more limited resources and way fewer people involved making it than normal. I appreciated what these filmmakers did, and I had such a fun time watching it. But just be aware, if you check it out, you're going to watch a really low-budget movie. But I had so much fun. The main character, she was a bitch, which was great. I liked that.
Love that.
She's on her way to LA to be a plastic surgeon for dogs. And then she dines and dashes because they don't accept credit card, and she's trying to pay them, and they're like, sorry, the ATMs are all closed. And she's like, okay, well, I guess I'm not going to pay for this. And then she just leaves, and then the cops pull her over, and they assign her to do community service in the form of helping out at the local veterinary, and she has a romance with the guy who works there. It is charming in its earnestness, I guess. It was really low quality in a lot of ways, and yet was trying to do some interesting camera stuff that sometimes I was impressed by. There is real snow, real horses, real cars driving around, and that's fun compared to all the CG stuff that you normally see and the sets. So I had fun watching it. A lot of people probably wouldn't, but if you are the type of person who likes watching,
because they don't get it the way that you do.
You have to be down to watch low budget indie that you have a blast watching, you know? So it might be a movie
Do
some
Christmas
people would want
movies
to check
scratch
out.
your indie itch more than most mumblecore indie movies do?
Maybe.
I think this is where you get indie movies from.
No, I like indie movies if they're actually indie low budget. I don't want a movie that is still millions of dollars budget with famous people in it, but the plot is just slice of life. I don't like that kind of indie. I mean, truly indie is what I prefer. Sorry, I sound pretentious now.
No, I just want to keep it coming. Say more stuff.
No, I agree. I think I have a sweet spot for Christmas indie and maybe horror indie. I can take it if it's not huge budget. If it doesn't look that great, there's something very charming about it.
And then I watched this one called A Christmas Cabin. It was on Prime. It was from 2019, starring Chad Michael Collins.
Oh,
Hilarious to me.
different Chad Michael.
They're trying to trick people who don't want to read the whole actor's name.
Exactly. And it was the sweet spot of fun bad, but the actress was way over the top, making crazy faces. And you can even tell from the movie poster that she's doing this weird overacting compared to the guy. And I thought it was kind of fun, a little cringy sometimes, but I had a very cozy cabin. So I had a somewhat fun time watching that one. Ameerah, you got any more for us?
Yes, I have one more. I feel like at the end of these, I always bring a sad one. I am recommending Long Lost Christmas, which is a Hallmark movie from 2022, and it follows a interior designer who gets a room in a house that she gets to design for like this magical design center where every designer gets their own room. So she starts to go out and find new pieces for this place, and her mother is currently depressed because they just lost her father. So she realizes on her journey to look for new furniture that she might have an uncle that she never knew about. And so she kind of sets out on this task to reconnect her mother with her uncle. And when she meets him, he's actually not interested in having any kind of family at all, any kind of ties with this family. So the whole movie follows her trying to get to know this man without letting him know that she's related to him because he doesn't want anything to do with the family. I thought it was really interesting that that was the twist, that he has left his family and doesn't want anything to do with them. So her setting out to do this reconnection Christmas journey, which usually happens in some of these films, is thwarted by the fact that he's just completely not interested. I thought it was a new take on that, especially considering she's attempting to kind of re-engage her mother by bringing more family, only for the family to not want to be around. It's definitely a drama, but it does have a little bit of a romance through line as she falls in love with one of the guys who works with her uncle. I thought it was really nice. I think it's not the kind of Christmas movie you expect, but it did have a lot of heart.
Yeah.
We could get back to some more heavier themes in Christmas movies.
Yeah. Okay, so hopefully some listeners, if you're interested in Christmas movies, we got a couple recommendations for you. Because some of those we liked, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
The Jonas Brothers, go watch it.
Yeah,
Go
definitely watch
Very
that
Jonas
one.
Christmas.
I think check out if you have a Netflix subscription, now's the time to watch it. I think we're in a bit of a renaissance of them finding themselves, finding their identity.
The Netflix Christmas movies.
Correct. And normally I'm not out here recommending people watch Netflix for any reason.
Thanks again, Ameerah, for coming on.
Thank you both for having me back again. I had so much fun talking Christmas movies with you.
It was marvelous. You're so welcome anytime.
We'll do it again next year, for sure. That concludes another exciting new Hollywood adventure. Thank you all so much for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to Kael Idols on the podcatcher of your choice. Please take the time to leave a rating or review. It is extremely helpful for small podcasts like ours. Consider it a Christmas present to us. We'd love to hear from you, so please reach out to us on Instagram or send us an email to kaelidols@gmail.com. We want to say thank you to the Illuminator for our logo. Thank you for Ameerah for joining us this episode, and thank you to ourselves for everything else. Please join us next episode where we will be counting down our favorite films of 2025 and 1975.
Hey, Santa. How did we do?
Merry Christmas